Welcome to the Pylon to Pylon podcast, where we love football and hate your opinion. My name's Austin Brazoka, hosting this week with my other co-hosts, Richie Bradshaw.
Hello.
Donnie Druin.
Back from Mobile.
And Skylar Burkhart.
Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Just a friendly reminder, we are proud partners of the Pulse Podcast Network and Statement Games, where you make the statements on the games. Discover the future of fantasy football at statementgames.com. All right, guys, so we are going into our draft episode for this week. We're going to transition from college football podcast going to the draft podcast now, since most prospects from college are going into that next level. So I know we were just at the Senior Bowl for two of our members, Donnie and Richie. Great stuff on their Twitters.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
First off, guys, how was the trip?
Oh, it was so much fucking fun.
The very beginning and the very end of the trips were awful, courtesy of United Airlines.
Yeah, fuck you, United.
All right.
That's not a shout-out. That's not a shout-out.
But the whole week there was phenomenal. It just being in the town that just loves football and just never talks about anything else besides football
And barbecue.
Just phenomenal food. You get that southern hospitality. It was a great place to be. I can't wait to go back.
You're very nice. You guys were there you got to see all the players practicing. Who were two players that you thought really stood out and proved their draft stock, and who were two players you really thought didn't do too well?
You want to take this first? You want me to get it?
Go ahead. We can alternate.
My first big winner has to be Deebo Samuel, the South Carolina wide receiver. We all kind of forgot about him in 2018's draft class. He was kind of looked at as a second-round pick before he got injured. Then he came back into this year. There was a little bit of hype, and he just fell off. He died off. His quarterback, Jake Bentley, didn't do him any help at South Carolina. But come Senior Bowl time, that kid is thicker than we thought he was, faster than we remember, and his footwork is absolutely incredible. He was tearing up practices all week. I don't think anyone made more money than Deebo Samuel did this last week. Wouldn't shock me if he was a top 35 pick.
Really? So like a borderline first-round pick?
He could sneak into the first round.
The stuff you guys were sending me was amazing. His footwork and like the route running he was doing.
He was just making guys look stupid.
It just wasn't like the one-on-ones he was winning. It was just he ran every route in the route tree possible, and he was just working like some of the best corners going into the draft. It was something else to see in person. I'm going to go tackle Dalton Risner from Kansas State. Not a terrible amount of hype going just into the draft process in general with guys like Jonah Williams and Yannick Adjust, but he went into Mobile and he absolutely dominated. I don't know if you guys actually got to watch the game, but he handled Montez Sweat a handful of times in the actual game.
And I know Sweat picked up some draft stock too, not as much, but
he definitely did.
He went from edge 4, edge 5, edge 6 to edge 3, top 10 lock.
Top 10 lock?
Lock.
Wow.
I'll show you the tape later. It was insane what he was doing.
Yeah, but Montez Sweat is nothing to, I don't even know words to describe him. Phenomenal, man.
I got to stand next to him. My God, he towered over me. He's every bit of 6'5", 255 pounds.
Ooh, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
We'll put it this way. He's got arms so long, he can scratch his knee without bending over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what you want as an edge defender. You want those long arms to be able to disengage from tackles and make a play.
He reminds me of a more talented Leonard Floyd at Georgia.
Yeah.
Just that freaky athlete with all this potential that you can put together and turn him into a monster. Floyd has looked great when healthy, but I think Sweat's not going to have that issue. And I think Sweat can come in and just dominate for a team. 4-3, 3-4, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
he's so long and athletic.
Yeah, I know he was eligible last year for the draft too, wasn't Sweat?
He was, yes.
I really liked him going into the draft last year. I know he was going to be like a top 35 pick though, not a lock top 10.
He was smart to wait.
Just like Josh Allen. Josh Allen could have been a borderline first-round pick. Now he could be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I talked with Skylar about this on the last podcast, that I said that Cardinals, I think it would be smart for them to go with Josh Allen over Nick Bosa.
Yep.
So now you gave us the first winner. Who would you guys second winner from the Senior Bowl?
I'll take this. Andre Dillard from Washington State. was absolutely dominant the whole week long. But the one thing that really benefited him, and this was even kind of out of his hands, was the NFL seems dead set on Jonah Williams is going to be an offensive guard at the next level.
Really?
Which makes Dillard offensive tackle 1. So we saw a few years ago Garrett Bowles, the offensive tackle from Utah at the time, ended up going 20th overall to the Broncos.
Yes.
This is going to be a very similar situation. The difference is Dillard, I think, is better, and he's younger. He's not going to be a 25-year-old rookie. And he could wind up easily going in the top 15 if the Bills or the Cardinals, if the Cardinals trade back, of course, or the Jets, if they trade back, get desperate for a tackle. Dillard could be their guy. It wouldn't shock me if Dillard was the first offensive lineman taken.
Now, I just want to go back to you're saying that Jonah Williams is going to be a guard at the next level. Is that something you guys were hearing at the Senior Bowl?
That's what we're hearing, yes.
It's almost a definite thing. We don't want to confirm anything just because we haven't heard it from anybody in the pro realm.
That's just what you were hearing.
But just from
that was a lot
just
of talk
from
at the
all
Senior
of the
Bowl.
people we talked to and all that good stuff. The concern with Jonah Williams is that it's his arm length, isn't it?
It's his arm length, and he's 305 pounds.
So another Justin Pugh is what you'd be saying.
Another Zach Martin.
Yeah, another Cam Robinson, pretty much.
Gotcha.
What?
Cam Robinson.
Cam Robinson.
No, who was
Alabama tackle.
No, who was it? Who am I thinking of?
Zach Martin.
Greg, the guy the Rams took.
No, not Greg Robinson.
Not Greg Robinson. That dude was an athlete. Who the hell are you thinking about?
I have no idea.
Is it an Alabama guy?
Yeah. It was now the Alabama tackle that they ended up moving to guard. Maybe.
DJ Fluker moved into guard?
Yeah, it should have been him.
Nah, Jonah Williams is a left tackle. He's a top 5 pick. If it wasn't for Nick Bosa, you could take him number 1 overall and not have a problem. But at the end of the day, I'll take Zach Martin on my team.
Yeah, Zach Martin's an animal. Donnie, who is your second winner from the Senior Bowl?
Real Jared Stidham, quarterback from Auburn. Mobile had a interesting group of quarterbacks there for the Senior Bowl. Guys like Trace McSorley who are just trying to prove their ability at the next level to even get drafted. You have a guy like Drew Lock there who's going to be a first-round pick in the NFL. And then you have the kind of in-between guys, the Daniel Jones, the Tyree Jacksons, kind of, hey, you're here, show us what you can do. Jared Stidham's 2018 wasn't very good statistically.
Yes.
He just didn't look like the pro quarterback. People thought he was going to be falling 2017. But he went to Mobile, and I think he impressed a lot of people. He definitely got himself back into, I want to say, day 2 conversation.
Probably.
Maybe early day 3 in terms of NFL draft stuff.
4th round?
Yeah, about that. He's not going on the first day. I don't think he goes round 2, but don't be surprised if he goes round 3. He's just clicking on all cylinders at the right time, and he looked really impressive, man. His accuracy was on point, at least from what I saw in the practices. His footwork looked steady. He's got a decent arm on him. It's just a matter of going out and proving you can compete with guys who are going to be at the next level, and he did.
Perfect. So we went over the 2 guys that are the biggest risers, in your guys' opinion, from being there. Who were 2 guys that you guys thought hurt their draft stock the most?
I'm going to jump in before Donnie can and take Daniel Jones.
Damn it!
The quarterback.
You knew I was going to take him.
Duke.
Okay.
You knew I was going to take him.
I did know. So here's the thing with him. Take a shot. By going to the Senior Bowl, he did improve his stock because he showed that he was out there to compete and he wasn't afraid to show off his arm talent. This is a guy with great intangibles and is going to be a first-round pick. However, he did not interview well. He did not look good on the field. And while he did look a lot better in the game, admittedly, I was underwhelmed in practice. He was sailing balls at times.
I read that.
I think, and shout out to Mello for this comparison, he is very similar to Ryan Tannehill. And the first time I heard that from Mello, I can't say anything else. And that terrifies me because I don't think Daniel Jones can lead a team because there were Mitch Trubisky comparisons, and Trubisky's a gamer. I don't think we talk about how much passion that kid has on the football field. That's a guy who's going to take command of your huddle. I remember his rookie season, your guy Josh Sitton was with the Bears, and in a preseason game, the offensive line went to leave the huddle, And Trubisky yelled at them and said, "You guys get back here. You can leave when I break the fucking huddle." And sit and turn around. And he was just like, "Nobody talks to me like that." I respect you. Because sitting afterwards was like, yeah, I respect the hell out of that kid. He's a 21-year-old kid yelling at a 30-year-old offensive lineman and a bunch of other vets. So I think Trubisky's got this edge to him that Daniel Jones just doesn't have.
Yeah, you definitely get that feeling, especially whenever reports came out after the terrible Wednesday practice that he had, where he...
Glad we can be there for that.
Yeah, really shout out to the Senior Bowl.
Shout out to the Mobile weather.
So I don't know, I've told Skylar this before the podcast. I don't know if you heard, but Wednesday in practice, Daniel Jones threw back-to-back interceptions, and I guess his practice went so terribly to where he refused to talk to any media personnel after the practice, and if you wanted to speak with him moving forward, you had to go through his agent.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Red flag. Big red flag.
Bad look on him. But my guy who I thought kind of hurt their draft stock is going to be Donald Parham, the tight end from Stetson. He was a guy I circled in one of my articles for the Steelers to look after just because he was a 6'8" dude coming from a smaller school at the tight end position. And, you know, if he proved he could be athletic enough and durable enough, then he would be a great late round find. Got to Mobile. He got outshined by Drew Sample. Who was another? There was one more really solid tight end in Mobile.
Irv Smith?
Irv Smith was only a junior.
He's a junior.
It wasn't the UCLA kid because
Caleb Wilson. He got out there late though. I'm not going to hold him to that. But no, Donald Parham, he got hurt in like the second practice of the week. He went down with an ankle injury. That was one of the concerns because he's 6'8", but he's barely around 200 pounds, and that's a really small frame for an NFL-sized tight end. So he definitely didn't help himself at all. He didn't separate himself whenever he was healthy in practice either. So it's just generally not a good week for him.
Okay. Who are your guys' second loser?
I'm going to lump two guys together, and I'm going to ask that I can sit on the other side of the table for this because Austin, Michael Dieter, and Bo Benchois got their ass whipped all week long. I can count on one hand between the two of them how many good reps I saw. And I loved Michael Dieter coming into this week, and I thought Bo Benchois could have been a sleeper. I know I'm not saying that right, by the way.
I have no idea.
He's not a huge Wisconsin guy, so
I like Wisconsin. They're just not my team.
Guy. Okay, he's a Penn State guy. Yeah.
No, I'm an ASU guy. Alumni, baby.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes me happy because I know you do like Wisconsin.
I do root for them. Yes.
Yes.
I try to watch their games, but it gets hard.
There are so many good Wisconsin offensive linemen every year. David Edwards is clearly the guy this year at right tackle. I was excited for Dieter, and he just underperformed. And I'll tell you what, maybe this is an overreaction, but we might have another Peter Collins on our hands.
You think?
Dieter looked bad. But the thing is, he's played all 5 spots on the offensive line. So he should still be a day 2 pick, but I think he was a day 3 player.
You know, the thing with me is when you see versatility, people think because they're so versatile that they automatically get bumped up a round or two. And to me, if you're not good at one position, why are you going to be... Or if you're not great at one position, why are you going to be good at 5?
Unless you're truly special.
Well, I would definitely have somebody who's great at one thing as opposed to a guy who thinks he could do 5 different things. Right. An example, Taysom Hill.
Yeah, he's okay.
I'll take Doug Baldwin over Percy Harvin every day.
Yeah, completely agree.
Mm-hmm. What if Percy Harvin was healthy for his whole career, though?
I'll still take Doug Baldwin.
The only thing Percy was good at was returns.
Percy was
a slot.
He was an athlete who could never put it all together.
Yeah.
Baldwin has had an absolute tear throughout his career.
I would love to see Percy Harvin healthy and see what he could have accomplished.
Baldwin had I know we're getting off topic, but Baldwin had a great season that was so quiet.
He wasn't 100% either. We're not talking about that either.
He really turned it up, though, once he got fully healthy.
Well, he missed close to half the season, right?
No, he played the whole season, and he was about
this year. You're very wrong.
Yeah, I don't think he played.
He definitely missed games.
Yeah, he missed the first couple of weeks.
Yep.
I know he came out and he said when he played he was not at 100 and he was going to be playing like 80 or something most of the season.
Well, I know the last 6 to 8 weeks he had a very solid campaign. But Donnie, who is your second loser?
It's going to be Will Grier, quarterback from West Virginia. talk about the hype train that you had, even going back to the start of 2018. You were a Heisman Trophy candidate, my dude.
He was the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah, and you were expected to put up a lot of nice numbers and potentially lead West Virginia to, a Big 12 championship, maybe a college football playoff spot, depending on who you talk to. Gets to Mobile, sailing balls left and right, just throwing balls at receivers' feet. It just felt like he could never just get the momentum going whenever he was out on the field, whether it be just throwing balls to guys on 1-on-1s or 7-on-7s or full team practices. His accuracy just looked off. And at least for me, accuracy is something you can't really fine tune. At least for me, accuracy is something you either have or you don't. Mm-hmm. Because whenever it comes down to it, you can coach guys left and right, but whenever you have a 300-pound lineman going towards your face and you need to rely on somebody to make a throw, I can't say I can rely on Will Grier to make throws like that. And even whenever he doesn't have somebody in his face, I don't trust him now, and that I've seen with my own 2 eyes.
Do you think it's just a Senior Bowl getting to his head, or what do you think? Because, that's such crazy, that turnaround all of a sudden get to the Senior Bowl, he just had
or another question,
that performance.
How did his footwork look?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't pay very much attention to his footwork. I did hear people say, at least in the Senior Bowl, that looked great. So he definitely bounced back during the game, but Richie can vouch for this. People put a lot more stock into the actual practice week as opposed to game day.
Right. Well, yeah, you only get about a quarter of a rep, like 1 quarter worth of reps, don't you, during the Senior Bowl?
About that, yeah. Just because there's so many guys need to get in there, but
the other thing for Will Grier is he not only had 1, but he had 2 of his wide receivers from West Virginia come to help him be comfortable, and that should have given him such a huge advantage. And David Sills looked awesome. Their other kid I didn't pay that much attention to, and I'm sorry about that, but Sills looked fantastic, and that was with and without Grier.
And so even with that familiarity, Grier still did not stick out to anybody outside of his poor performance.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
Okay. And I'm going to hit you guys with an off the topic question here. Who was one prospect that you guys wish was at the Senior Bowl to be able to grade them on that did not go?
Oh,
Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen. Yeah, definitely.
And we were talking about this whenever we were on the flight out there because only a couple of days beforehand he announced that he wasn't going to be there. Josh Allen came out and said, "Hey, I'm the number 1 pick."
Right.
If you believe that, here's your chance.
Yeah, come back.
If you really want to be the number 1 pick, here's where you can elevate your draft stock. It's not going to be in Indianapolis at the Combine because a lot of guys just view that as tight
underwear Olympics.
Yes, underwear. I was going to say tight shirt Olympics. But no, go, it was a stacked class of pass rushers going to Mobile. They were phenomenal to watch. I kind of wish we got to watch more of them, but I was lame and wanted to watch everybody else. Shout out to Richie. But no, man, just why say you're the best and then refuse an opportunity like that?
You better test out of the roof.
And not to say it hurt him because he's still going top 5 maximum.
But what if he doesn't even go to the Combine? What if he wants
minimum
to do we would call it personal workout instead?
He could be the number 2 pick.
Yeah, he'd be the number 1 pick depending on how the chips fall, man.
Yeah, if you went to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, it's definitely Josh Allen. That's who I wish I got to see.
Okay, fair enough.
It's definitely Josh Allen.
Is there anybody else?
Yannick Adjust.
Yeah, him. He didn't go as well.
I would like to have seen N'Keal Harry.
That would.
Do you mean off or
that's what I thought.
Underclassman too?
N'Keal Harry's a senior.
No, he's not.
Oh,
he is a true junior.
I thought he was a senior.
I thought you were asking about underclassmen. I was going to say get Kyler Murray in there.
I misspoke. Then that's my fault. I thought he was a senior.
There's
I'll forgive you this time. Don't let it happen again.
It'll happen again. So just do it.
I
love you.
No, let's have fun. Put one junior in Mobile. Who is it?
Kyler Murray.
N'Keal Harry.
Is Hawkinson one? The junior, or is he sophomore? Where is he at?
Hawkinson is a junior.
He's going into the draft. The tight end out of Iowa?
Yeah, I know he's going to the draft. I just can't remember what class. So I would want to see him. That's what I'd like to see.
That's... I got to go Kyler. Yeah, just because we'd be able to see what he is as a true passer instead of him just running around like a video game character all day, which is fine. I don't have a problem with him doing that.
You can see eye to eye with him.
Yeah. You can see eye to eye with him, man.
No,
I think Kyler's probably a little taller than Skyler.
I think he's taller.
No, he's what, 5'8"?
I think he's 5'9".
He's like 5'8.5" on a good day.
I thought he's 5'9".
Depending
I've
who
heard
you ask.
so much on this height.
Well, shit.
I think he's 5'11" on the team website.
I would say Oklahoma probably has him as like 6 foot 240 or some shit like that.
Dude, they pop up those numbers in high school. I remember in our guide, I think I was 5'10".
Really? Jesus.
Like
no,
that.
did you see it? Was it Isaiah Buggs that was listed over 6 foot, and then on like Alabama's site, and then in Mobile he was listed at like 5'10" or 5'11".
Was he that small?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is hashtag not good. Remember ASU when Jalen Strong was 6'5"?
Yeah.
But then when he went to the combine, he shrunk 3 inches and was only 6'2".
Yeah.
It was incredible. I can't believe you can have such a turnaround.
Oh, man.
In a bad way, too.
What I thought Jalen Strong would have been.
Same. Those back shoulder fades were impossible to stop.
I know. Big, strong hands. Never did anything with them. All right, so now that we've gone over our winners and losers for the draft, how about we go into our 2 must-know players for this upcoming 2019 draft process?
Can I start us again?
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to drive the hype train here on Montez Sweat. Sweat is a freaking animal. Just for fun, he was a JUCO player, but he did start in a Division I college. Can anyone tell me where it was? Just for fun, I want to see.
No idea.
No.
What can you tell us what?
Big Ten.
It's a JUCO, Skyler.
Well, he started at a Division I, transferred to JUCO.
Oh, I thought you were asking for the JUCO.
No,
JUCO.
Eat me.
No,
sorry, Skyler, I
no. Take it back, Austin.
I take it back.
All right, Big Ten. Everyone, just throw a school in
Rutgers.
there.
Ohio State.
Nebraska.
Skyler,
Ohio State. Penn State. Indiana.
I know, I'm thinking.
Minnesota. Michigan State.
you're looking
Michigan.
it up,
Michigan
you dick.
State. No,
It's right there. I told you to guess.
No, I just pulled up Big Ten schools. I was going to say Michigan State.
I don't
looking for
believe
a
you.
couple.
I'm very positive he looked it up.
It does say Big Ten.
I don't believe him.
Oh my god!
Michigan State is where Montez was.
Really?
Regardless,
I literally just took a good shot in the dark.
he goes to Mississippi next to Jeffrey Simmons, and those kids are monsters together. Montez made Simmons' life easier, and Simmons made Montez's life easier. But Montez is my guy. Every year, I pick a kid to gush over. To
Last
start the year,
was, what's his name?
Josh Rosen.
No. There was a pass rusher. He went to Tennessee. Harold Landry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gushed
were
all
on
over
that
him.
You
hype
did.
train.
Harold Landry was my guy. Boston College kid. He did go to Tennessee. And guess what? Arakpo and what's his name? Derek Morgan are out of the way now.
Yep.
So if Tennessee can
Harold
find a way to
Landry.
get
Cupcakes.
Montez Sweat and Harold Landry together, I would just all sorts of good stuff.
He'd be a number 2 Tennessee Titan fan.
You're damn right I would. Just for the edge rush. Nothing else. I don't like their quarterback.
Oh,
All right, who's next? Floor is open.
I'll take the next one and state an obvious.
Yeah, you
Kyler
will.
Murray. I think that's the guy you guys got to know. For our listeners out there, he's a guy who could potentially go number 1 overall.
Yeah, his draft stock is so crazy because he grades out as like a second or third round talent according to a lot of people. But
his height
talent, he's
alone,
first round, but
it's his height.
It's not athleticism. It's not intangibles. The dude's a winner. He's talented. He's a dual threat. He's not going to hold up.
That too. His frame is super small.
That's just the end all be all. Imagine an uglier, more talented Skyler.
You know, I mean, he could legitimately go number 1 if you have a team in the top 5 to 7 that falls in love with him and has to move up. Because I think Arizona, of the top 3 teams, would be willing to listen to calls.
I want to clarify. I was saying Skyler's uglier, not Kyler. Kyler is a beautiful man.
well, fine then.
well, we certainly come a long way from preseason, that's for sure. People,
I own up to it.
I know. People compare him to Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's bigger. Wilson's only like 5'11", but Kyler Murray is like 3 inches smaller than him.
Well,
That
Russell
and
Wilson's 220 pounds.
220 pounds. Murray's 50 pounds lighter than him.
And I don't see him bulking up 50 pounds by the start of the NFL season while keeping that athleticism.
They'll probably send him a year and let him bulk.
Wilson's a better athlete because he carries his weight so much better and he can do what Kyler does.
True.
They can run probably pretty close to the same.
I think
I would
Kyler's
imagine.
rolling out.
I think Kyler's in the 4.4s. I would think Wilson is 4.5, 4.6 range.
I think Kyler's going to break the 4.38.
Really?
Yeah, dude, that guy's he's agile and fast as hell.
I would definitely take Kyler over Wilson in the foot race.
Yeah,
I don't know about the 4.38 time.
I think
right.
really
I think it's
high
close to
4.3s.
We're watching the combine together. So,
Yep.
I'm in, dude. I'm so down. We just did this.
all right, let's get pizza and wings.
As long as it's not on a work day, that I'm in.
That's fine.
You
Pizza
have
and wings.
take a shot every time Mike Mayock is mentioned, every time Bubble Butt is mentioned, every time John Ross is mentioned. What else? What else can we do?
I can't
Combine.
take shots.
Sneaky athlete.
Any white superlative.
Underwear
Olympics.
Olympics, yeah.
Yep.
Do you know our sneaky athletes, our white guy comparisons?
Before you get into that, Deion Sanders complimenting a white guy on how fast he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys are horrible.
No, there's a list. It was a drinking list game. I wish I had it. I think I saved it, but then I deleted it.
Yeah. Austin, do you know the backstory behind the white people superlatives?
Not the backstory to that. No, I know
Superlatives.
No, we're not getting into that. No.
I know the Deion Sanders story.
Alabama really rolled off on you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, so people use these terms to whenever they talk about a white athlete, especially in the NFL, where they kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. They like mask that they're just calling them white, and they use other like adjectives to like describe them.
Me and Donnie are going to go back and forth right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Donnie, you start.
Okay. So, for example, when somebody's talking about a white athlete,
Let's talk about Hunter Renfrow.
okay, yeah. So Hunter Renfrow can be described as like a gym rat,
Oh, he's definitely a coach on the field.
high football IQ.
Sneaky athletic.
That one always gets
Faster than you think.
Yeah, faster than you think. Sneaky athletic.
I love the high football IQ. Intangibles for days. Intangibles.
Interesting. I didn't know
Coach
that.
on the field.
It's more of a joke, but like if you actually pay attention to draft coverage,
You can look it up on Google and it'll give you a website with a list of like 10 things.
Yeah. Yeah, now you know.
Now I know. It's because it's my super short show.
There you go. I remember that.
My player you need to know, I fell in love watching Deebo Samuel just from the tape that Donnie and Richie were sending me over the weekend. That kid is amazing. I cannot wait to see what team takes the pick for him. That is going to be something to watch.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, Deebo Samuel, phenomenal athlete. It's crazy. It's just like looking at how he performed in Mobile and looking back to the start of 2018, how much he just fall off. And granted, there's great receivers and, this upcoming draft class, like in N'Keal Harry, DJ Metcalf, AJ Brown, all of those guys. But
what was his comparison? Like his pro comparison?
Deebo?
Yeah.
Richie, who did Brad Kelly compare Deebo to?
Because he has such good footwork.
Brad Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My guy?
Yeah. Our guy. I follow him too. Come on.
Let me pull it up.
Aren't you selfish?
Yeah, I know,
What would
man.
you kind of compare him to? What would you kind of compare him to? Because he's
Deebo Samuel?
there's so much.
Alshon Jeffrey, maybe?
No, better footwork than Jeffrey.
I would say like a Dollar General Amari Cooper.
Okay.
And that's not slighting Samuel whatsoever. It's just that coming out of college, Cooper was on another level whenever it came to his route running, his footwork, his hands, etc.
No, I know. I loved him.
And then he came out and just don't have hands.
So, speaking of receivers, my guy's going to be Jacoby Myers, wide receiver from NC State. Freak athlete, makes circus catches left and right. He's a guy who can go up and gets it. He high points the football phenomenally. His route running could be a little bit better. He's not going to be a guy you see on. I think he's not going to go at least on the first 2 days of the draft. But I
you're
think
digging deep in the bag with this one.
not super deep.
His
just
hype
because
has picked up. I've been reading.
his hype trend is picking up a little bit, so I don't think I'm going super deep with this one. But he's a guy who just comes out with the football no matter where you go, where you throw it to him. So I think it just depends on where he falls Pittsburgh. If he goes to the right place and he's utilized,
It's kind of like one of those sneaky picks. Like Juju was a later pick. You have
second
Juju
round.
fell, though. He was expected to be a high second round pick and fell to the low second.
That's where they're. I mean, he's going to be one of those sneakier picks, like he said. Well, you said third round, right? Like right, third, fourth round, depending on.
I think if he's lucky, he'll get in end of round 3, but I don't see that happening.
He's gonna be one of those wide receivers that is drafted late, but is end up going to be playing way better than we were drafted.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with you guys on the wide receiver train. I'm not gonna go as deep as Donnie did or as deep as Skyler did.
I do go deep.
Marquise Hollywood Brown.
We can confirm with Haley. So.
Whoa! Haley, if you're listening, we love you.
We love you, Haley.
But no, Marquise Hollywood Brown. I'm gonna go with him. He's a guy right now that's slated to be a late one, early 2 type of guy. That I think if he has a well enough combine and a good personal workout with teams, I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the first receivers taken off the board, just due to purely his athleticism and slot playmaking abilities. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes from that late first round pick to early second round pick to possibly like a floor of 24 at Oakland. Richie, who's your finals must know?
Jonathan Abram.
Okay, continue.
Safety from Mississippi State. This dude is a monster. He had a shoulder injury, so it held him out of the Senior Bowl. If that checks out at the Combine, this guy is safety 1. Over Deontay Thompson, over Taylor Rapp. This dude is an animal. His final year at Mississippi State went a little something like this. 99 tackles, 9 TFLs, 3 sacks, 2 picks, 5 pass defended, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. He does everything for you. He's 6'5", 215. He's got the typical mold that you want. He's rangy. He can come down in the box and hit you. This guy is a first-round pick if he passes his combine medicals.
So you're saying he's like a Cam Chancellor type of a player with those kind of numbers.
Not quite as big, because Chancellor was 6'3" and 220 pounds. Abram has almost like a poor man's Eric Berry kind of game to him. I'm not comparing him to Eric Berry.
But you're saying it reminds you of Eric Berry.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now that we have 2 players that you must know, who are 2 players that scare you a little bit? And Richie,
in a good or bad way?
In a bad way. Okay. Who is somebody that you would be hesitant on taking if you...
I'll go ahead and just, once again, make the very obvious one.
Don't do it.
Rodney Anderson.
Okay, you're good.
Were you thinking Kyler?
No.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's your boy.
Rodney Anderson he's my boy? Rodney Anderson or the guy who you're scared of?
The guy who I'm scared of.
I swear if it's N'Keal Harry, I'll
it's not. No.
Is it Montez?
No.
I'll kill you.
No. I'll kill you.
How about we just keep on going and we'll find out when Donnie talks?
Shut up, baby. I know it.
That'd be lame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I like bickering. Anyways, who am I talking about?
Well, we were talking about the amazing deals. You can get at SeatGiant.com for all your wonderful ticketing needs. Concerts, sporting events, whatever you need. It'll be SeatGiant.com. Use promo code PYLON. That's PYLON for a phenomenal discount on already great price tickets. And shout out to Statement Games as well. Find out the future of fantasy football at StatementGames.com.
Yeah, the latter of those was a lot better. Rodney Anderson, the Oklahoma running back, is who I was talking about. This guy is Arian Foster in every way imaginable. Talented runner, fantastic receiver, can't stay on the field. Broken leg, torn ACL, neck injury, dates back to high school. He couldn't stay healthy. Never played a full season in college. But this dude is ridiculous. A healthy Rodney Anderson might be a top 15 player in this draft class. He might be the best running back from last year's draft class. No, I'm just kidding. Saquon was in last year's draft class.
I was going to say, how dare you?
How dare you?
He might be a top 2, top 3 running back from last year's draft class, but he's undoubtedly the best this year. And it's just unfortunate. He's just another one of those guys.
Over Jacobs, or that's only when he's healthy?
Oh my God, Josh Jacobs is a freaking monster.
I love Josh.
Yeah, same.
Josh is probably RB1. I am so partial to his teammate Damian Harris, though.
I know you are. I've loved him the last 3 years.
If Baltimore can snatch him up in round 3 or round 4, I would die and go to heaven. He's got no mileage on him. Anyways, I'll talk about Damian for the rest of the podcast. Someone else jump in. So my first guy is Rodney Anderson. That scares me.
All right, I'll go with my next one, and you guys are going to call me an idiot for this, but...
Idiot.
Nick Bosa.
You idiots.
Stupid.
I'm actually open to hearing this. Go ahead.
I feel like you've seen him. He's only played. He didn't play much this season. He had an abdominal tear, so I want to see that at the combine.
There's a lot of speculation it was a sports hernia.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I want to get it checked out at the combine because an abdominal tear is not something that I want to see. And you know, I have to dig further in his tape personally myself. But I think a lot of teams are calling him as an edge defender, but he's a 4-3 defensive end. So I feel like if a team went to take him as a 3-4 outside linebacker, like Arizona would if they drafted him, I feel like that'd be a bad move. I don't think he fits as a 3-4 outside backer.
That was my thing with Joey Bosa. Is everyone's talking about he's athletic enough to stand up, but I just don't like him in that position. And I think the exact same way for Nick.
Yeah.
I feel, and it's not that, dude, at the end of the day, Bosa had 10.5 sacks as a 3-4 end, and then the next year had 12.5. Nick is arguably just as good, if not better, but Nick is going to flourish in a 4-3. The only exception to that has been Clowney. And I think if you put Jadeveon and Clowney in a 4-3 right now, he would lead the league in sacks.
Well, it took Jadeveon a little bit to get used to the new system.
And now you don't run on him.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that?
He had injuries too.
He did, yes. But now that he's healthy, you can't run on him. And he's got 18 sacks in the last 2 years, 25 sacks over the last 3 years. Clowney's lighting it up. A healthy Joey's awesome. Nick could be great. All three of them would be so much better in a 4-3. And I think whoever trades up, or if the Cardinals do take him at 1, he might get pigeonholed his first few years.
It wouldn't surprise me if his first year is just learning a 3-4 outside backer and being set up into an elephant end type of role on pass rushing situations.
Not a lot of teams can utilize elephant linebackers, though. I know that the Ravens and the Packers were two teams that loved their elephant backers because we had guys like Pernell McPhee, Zadarius Smith. You guys employed
Julius Peppers, Nick Perry.
Julius Perry. Yeah, exactly. Nick Perry was the one that came to my mind, but Julius Peppers was there for a few years.
He was?
Yeah, and he was productive.
Oh, yeah. We should have won a Super Bowl with him.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, pass the torch. Skyler.
It's not a huge scare. I watched a little bit of Nasir Adderley just when he was doing the 101 drills with the man. I mean, granted, he's a safety, but you want to see him play man a little bit better. So it wasn't a huge concern, but it just stood out a little bit to me.
So the one thing that was a good point is that was made to me at the Senior Bowl is practices are tailored around having the wide receivers perform better than the corners because there's not a lot of situations where you're getting one-on-ones. You're not getting that safety help. You're not practicing your zone. You're straight up man-to-man. And Nasir's not a dominant man-to-man guy. He could play corner if they wanted to put him in like a cover 2, cover 3 defense, but that guy's a center fielder.
And this is just from the little bit of tape I saw. It was just like his footwork wasn't there exactly, but again, it wasn't huge.
Yeah, that's kind of the shitty part about it is that if you look at it all depends on what kind of tape you look, because if you only watch the one-on-ones in Mobile, Nasir Adderley looks like a 5th-round pick. Nasir could not hang one-on-one with some of the receiver talent in Mobile, but you know, you get to the full team practices, you put on the actual Senior Bowl game, and Nasir looks like, you know, borderline 1st-round pick.
Yep.
He's kind of like Richie said earlier.
Top 50 lock.
Yeah, he's a gamer. And I hate that term because, you know.
But it's so
we
true.
saved that for white guys, Donnie.
Yeah.
By the way, I found that list, so we'll have to look at it later. Yeah, there's like 20 of them.
Yeah, Nasir he's a little bit undersized. I wouldn't trust him in man-to-man coverage by himself, but at the end of the day, Richie hit the nail on the head. He's a center fielder. Yep. You know, you're going to put him out there, and he's going to go make plays, and he proved it in the team portions of practices and the Senior Bowl and all throughout his tape as well.
Okay.
I think that's spot on.
He's also related to Hall of Famer
Herb Adderley. That's his cousin.
Really?
Yep, I wanted to bring that up.
Wow.
Herb Adderley, Hall of Famer for the Packers and the Giants.
Interesting.
How about that?
Hey, go Pack. Go.
I thought that was his dad. It's his
Packers
cousin.
need
So,
safety.
oh no.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. It just depends on how free agency goes.
Dude, if you can put Nasir back there with Jair Alexander, Kevin King, and who's the other really good?
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson, dude.
They're saying they might move Josh Jackson, though, to Safety.
Really?
Possibly.
Get
It's
what?
been floated around.
Josh Jones? Is that the safety?
He's the safety, but he's a safety linebacker.
I was going to say they
Jacoby
don't
Jones.
like him deep. Jacoby MF Jones, excuse you.
All right, so my guy's going to be Jalen Smith, receiver out of Louisville. He was listed at 6'2". Did he measure out at 6'2", by the way?
I think he did.
Okay,
That sounds right.
I think he came in just a little bit shorter whenever it came time
I wouldn't
to
say he's
measurements.
my guy, so I'm not that upset.
So, no, Skylar took my guy. It was this year.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I got you now. Okay.
yeah. So when you put on the film and you watch him, he looks great. But when you get him in a practice setting where you're focusing on little things and you start to notice things about him, I don't think he can create separation. I think, for being a 6'2" guy, that's great. You have body, advantage on cornerbacks, phenomenal. But if you get like a really handsy cornerback on you who's undersized, you're going to have a lot of problems if you can't separate. I didn't see a whole lot of good things in Mobile with him. Maybe one or two plays where he went up and he got the ball, but he doesn't have the separation I want from a big-bodied receiver. And there were times where he dropped a couple passes in both the game and the practices as well. So it might have been just a 1 week of practice was bad for him and it rubbed off on me the wrong way. But I know he got a lot of hype coming into the NFL draft before Mobile, and I think his draft stock personally took a hit.
Okay. Richie, let's kick it off with the number 2 of the scares.
I had a really hard time with this, but I gotta go Kyler Murray. And it's simply the size.
Totally can see it. Even though I said he was one to watch.
He's exciting and he's scary. Will he go to spring training? Will he play baseball? Will he play in the NFL? Will he succeed in the NFL? Where's he going in the NFL? Is he a number 1 pick? Is he an end of the first round pick? Is he going to be a wide receiver or a running back?
No, he won't be.
No, I know he won't. It's just, I bet you anything that conversation is going to be started. I just don't know what to do with him. I don't know where to put him. When people are putting big boards together, where do you rank him? Do you just take into the fact that he's a good player and say, well, height's just a number on the scales? Or do you sit there and go, he's just not big enough. He's going to get cracked once by J.J. Watt and he's going to break in half. I don't know what to do with him.
Fair enough. And like I said, I can totally see both sides. Like, as I said, he's one to watch for, when you're getting ready for the draft. And I can totally see the reasoning for being afraid of him for what you called out.
He might be the biggest wild card we've seen since Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
We saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, Johnny Manziel had off the field issues. Kyler, his only off the field quote unquote issue is baseball.
I do think Kyler's a better passer than Johnny coming into the NFL as well.
100% agree.
Oh, yeah.
100% agree.
Well, maybe it's because Johnny was drunk all the time.
Also 100% agree.
Yeah, 100% agree. No lies detected.
But my second guy to watch out, Deontay Thompson. I'm just gonna say this purely off of watching his college football championship game tape. That guy was an absolute zero factor in that game. Missed tackles, blown coverages. I would just be nervous to spend a top 15 pick on a guy who, in his biggest game in his career against one of the best college football quarterback prospects ever, made little to no impact. I can't spend a top 15 pick on a guy like that.
I wouldn't be shocked if he slips to the end of the first round based off of that game and the fact that, he's a great over-the-top safety for coverage, but does he really provide you anything else?
Well, even then, how many times did they get burned by Clemson deep?
In their defense, they got a few good receivers there.
Yeah.
I know they do, but...
Have you seen Hunter Renfro?
That's Dr. Renfro.
That is Dr. Renfro to you.
I understand with that, but you also have to understand Deontay Thompson is the best safety in this class by most reports.
True. Listen here, you little piece of shit.
I am a big piece of shit. Get it right.
Sorry.
So I'll pass this on to Donnie just to save a little bit of time. Go with your next scare.
The next scare. I don't know. That's tough, man. There's a couple of different people going through my head right now. Amani, I still haven't perfected his last name. Are you Roy? The safety from Penn State.
Arue or something like that.
we'll call him Amani, Penn State safety. And he doesn't look super fluid whenever you put film on. Time after time, almost the same as Nasir, you don't trust him in man-to-man coverage. And I understand you don't go into the NFL expecting to play a lot of man as a safety, but offenses nowadays are designed to get mismatches on, wide receiver threes and tight ends. And there's going to be times where, hey, go cover Travis Kelce. Hey, go cover George Kittle. Go cover Zach Ertz. Yeah. These safeties nowadays are going to have to learn how to handle man-to-man coverage. And, it's, like I said, the same thing with Nasir, man. Amani just doesn't flash. He doesn't look great in man coverage. And even whenever, you watch the team portions and, you go back and watch Penn State games, it's just time after time, it's missed assignments. And I don't know if I can trust him.
Okay.
Simple stuff.
So we're going to go into our next topic. We're going to go into our debate. With the Oakland Raiders having the most first-round picks in this upcoming draft, would you see them spending more of their draft capital going offense or defense, picking at 4, 24, and
26?
26, yes. Thank you.
They need a lot of help.
I think, and I'll go ahead and open up the floor. I think
You're wrong.
You're right. If this was any other draft class, I would tailor it more towards offense. But this draft is so defensively dominated, and I don't know. At least on a defensive perspective, I don't know if we're going to see another draft like this where it's so defensive top heavy. Maybe another 5 years. Richie pointed out the 2013 draft class, which had a lot of defensive talent in it. That didn't pan out, but if defense wins championships.
I think it was Todd McShay. He gave out his top 10 player rankings, and every single one of them was a defensive player.
Does not surprise me at all. Not at all.
Doesn't surprise me at all either with what we have. But I agree with you, Donnie. I think defense is the way to go, but not so much because of the talent in this draft. I think the Raiders desperately need help on defense, especially you're going to see Patrick Mahomes twice a year. You're going to see Phillip Rivers twice a year, and Denver, you're going to see them twice a year, which they may be getting a rookie QB who knows, they may hit on in this draft. Joe Flacco. Maybe they get Joe Flacco.
That was like a very distant plan B, Richie.
I also think that the Raiders offense looked much better after the bye week once they really started getting a grip of Gruden's playbook, and not so much of it as a team, but Derek Carr played a whole lot better that second half of the season, so I think they're definitely going to go defensive heavy.
I think that's the right move, but I'm going to play devil's advocate for you guys and just point out that John Gruden is calling the shots.
Yep.
True. John
Gruden is not sold on Derek Carr from what we know. Who knows what Mike Mayock is going to do? This is their front office is now like the NFL Network as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you read the report. Mike Mayock does not make any decisions. He just...
Gruden should have the final say.
Mayock's going to build that board, though.
And then you're like, Gruden, what do you like here? You pick from here.
Well, I like this kid a lot.
Okay, but to my points on the defensive side of the ball and them trading away Khalil Mack, and granted, it did get them a couple picks in the draft, and we'll see how they pan out. Oakland was bottom of the league in sacks. Do you know how many they had? Just off the top of your head.
7.5?
14.
13. They had 13 sacks. The next two closest teams were New England and the New York Giants with 30. There's a 17 sack gap from dead bottom to the next above team.
Khalil Mack had right around that amount of sacks by himself this year.
Crazy. I don't know. And it's not just getting pass rushers. I mean, you definitely need to grab one at 4, but you need corner help as well.
You need linebacker help.
You need linebacker help. You need it everywhere.
You need everything on defense. The smart thing for them to do with their 3 picks is address all 3 areas of that defense. But it wouldn't shock me if with the 4th overall pick, they went Montez Sweat or Cleveland Ferrell or anyone like that. And with their later picks, they grab Josh Jacobs and N'Keal Harry. That wouldn't shock me. Yeah. What they should do, my perfect ideal situation, you trade up, get yourself Josh Allen, give up one of your first-round picks, and then come back around and you look at Mack Wilson or Devin Bush at linebacker, or you take a look at a guy like Byron Murphy or Taylor Rapp in the secondary. The 2 Washington kids.
I'd like to see Hollywood Brown there, too. I think he'd be a great fit in Oakland.
Yeah. What they should do, is split it like 2 and 1. So like 2 offense, 1 defense, or 2 defense, 1 offense. But if I was the GM, I would really be trying to like Cleveland Ferrell, Mac Wilson, Byron Murphy. Just upgraded your entire team. Yeah. And there's so many directions you can go. You could take Devin White with that 4th pick. You could
Do you
trade
think
back.
it's a little high for him?
I've seen Devin White sliding in mock drafts. Even though
I'm sick tired of him going to Cincy.
Listen, he's a good fit.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in Green Bay.
Yeah. So,
get ahead of Cincy. Make it happen. For the love of God.
So, just me being a Steelers guy, I look at mock drafts. Every mock draft has him falling to number 20. 20.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
He's not falling out of the top 10.
Top 15.
Is this another dollar bet? Top 10? All right. Good deal.
We need to start writing down these dollar bets.
They're for fun.
Well, all we know is Skylar owes us.
Yeah, Skylar does owe us a drink.
Look, it's not my fault that my word as a man is worth less than Monopoly money, okay?
Okay, and Skylar, where would you go if you were the Raiders?
I kind of want to play devil's advocate with Richie, and I'm going to go to the extreme. I think they do.
Look, the last time you played devil's advocate with me, you got all Twitter pissed off.
Eagles Twitter pissed off, and that was great. That was the best 2 days of my life watching them go haywire.
It was your best 2 days?
Do me a favor, change your Twitter name to Eagles Guy, please. Just do it.
Eagles Guy 6969.
Pound sign.
That's a hashtag, you idiot.
Oh. Well, I've been doing it.
He said pound sign. Skylar, please play devil's advocate for us.
I would trade for Nick Foles and Carson Wentz.
Boom, done. Raiders.
Both of them. Give up all of 2019 and 2020. It can't go wrong. Now I have 3 quarterbacks to rotate.
And then I'm going to go try and get Khalil Mack.
I need one more to play for each quarter.
Exactly.
If I was the Raiders, I'd go defense for my first 2 picks, and then I would try to address offense on my 3rd. That's probably where I would go. Depending where that falls or where N'Keal Harry falls, that's where I would go with my last pick.
So you're not doing devil's advocate.
Not to the extreme.
You're agreeing with them.
No, they said all defense. I was saying they got to address offense in this draft.
Well, no, I thought the argument was, hey, would you
offense.
rather go all offense or all defense?
You go all defense, right? If you had to do 3 of one or 3 of the other. If I had to do
3 of one?
Yes.
That needs so much help.
The consensus should be defense. Because there's just no offensive player.
Well, think about it. In the draft, you want to go BPA, best player available.
Exactly.
And that's always almost direct.
Especially a team like the Raiders.
Yes. Where you can get help anywhere. Like the Browns. Instead of trading down the past years, if they would have just taken the best player available at their current picks, they'd be light years ahead of where they're at right now.
I want to address this later again, later down the road to see, but also I would go defense right now. If we're going to go best player available, this is a defensive class.
With the best player available mentality, first of all, that's teams that are going to win consistently. But I just want to point out, do you guys know who Chris Ballard is?
Yes.
He's, I believe he's the general manager for the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yes. Yes.
Turned around the team in 1 year.
A very hot name.
Yes.
Very hot name in the scouting community for a long time. But you know how he turned around the Colts so fast?
How?
He didn't address needs. He didn't draft for needs. He drafted football players. That's exactly what John Dorsey's about in Cleveland. He's going to turn that team around. You draft football players. You don't draft for need. So at the end of the day, maybe the Raiders do take 3 offensive players, and in a few years we're looking and going, wow, Jonah Williams, Josh Jacobs, and N'Keal Harry's pretty freaking good. Or maybe they go all defense and we go, wow, Cleveland Ferrell, Mac Wilson, and Byron Murphy are fantastic.
Or they just get Kyler Murray.
All right. Boys, I know our show's coming up to an end here. I just want to ask you guys one quick question, very quick. I don't want any input, just a yes or no.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk between the Eagles and the Jaguars for trading Leonard Fournette and Nick Foles straight up. Would you do it, Donnie?
What team am I?
You're spectating.
No.
I'm going to say no.
I'd say yes.
I think that's a double-edged sword.
No analysis.
No analysis.
Analysis? Yes.
Okay. Great.
So there you go. We got the half side of the table here. That's an idiot.
Oh, God, the Eagles fans are coming!
Quick, change your Twitter, Abby. Change it to American Airlines and tell fucking Cox to get over it.
All right, guys, that's our Pylon to Pylon podcast for this week, where we love football, hate your opinion.
It actually might be we hate football and hate your opinion now. I don't know.
It might be.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
But yeah, this is your host, Austin Frizzoco, signing off with my other co-host, Richie Bradshaw.
Woo!
Donnie Druin.
Hello.
And Skylar Burkert.
Good night.
See y'all next week.